Extinct Legends, we're here with Gregg Martucci, childhood friend. Gregg and I go back to elementary school, and it's really great as we're getting ready to start this journey called Extinct Legends. Just thinking about people who in the industry have made major contributions and some of the things that they've done to contribute to the car culture. Definitely thought about my friend as I think about how I got into cars and how I got bit by the car bug. You and I, we used to draw, all the time.
We draw pictures, we build models.
We built models.
Fighting over the big tires in the Lego set.
Exactly, forgot about that. So expert builder, when expert builder came out, that's right, man. We build Legos. So Gregg and I go back a long way. So as I thought about, interviewing people who are in the car culture and very serious about it, you were one of the first people I said I gotta get.
Happy to be here, man.
Yeah, so
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you being here today, man. And we're just here to talk about cars, man. So basically, I got a lot of my stuff from you. Your influence and our friendship made me get into the models more and car mags and all that stuff. And so what kind of like started it for you? So we can just go back and forth. We'll first talk about getting bit by a car bug. You know what I mean? Like so you were already into cars when I met you. So you had to get it from someplace.
I grew up in a car family. My dad had prior to me coming on the scene, my dad had service stations. My dad managed a heavy truck repair facility and had auto parts stores and things like that. So the motor oil's in my veins. And, that's where it started. I mean, my earliest memory of myself and cars was, boy, I had to be, I was a toddler. I had to be 1-2 years old. I remember pushing Matchbox cars through a miter box. I made a tunnel. So that's my earliest memories of the car thing for me. And I was brought up in it. My dad was dragging me by the arm to car shows when as soon as I could walk. On the weekends we were going to car shows and my dad knew his stuff. I mean, we'd be driving down the road and 49 Caddy, and 53 Olds, that was, so that's where it comes from, I was influenced at an early age by the Southwest. I brought, I spent a lot of time in the Southwest. When my parents had split up, my dad moved out west to Arizona, and I would spend the summers in Arizona with my dad, and that's the scene out there obviously was a lot hotter than it was. The car scene was a lot hotter out there than it was in the East Coast. Not to say that there wasn't a scene, but it was definitely different and it was definitely more prevalent. So that influenced me heavily. That's where I'm a truck guy, at heart, and that's where my love of trucks comes from. Right. I think I kind of brought that in my own way. I kind of brought that back with me because when it was my turn, when I had, when I scraped the dough together to do something, it was a truck.
Yeah.
It was a street truck.
Yeah, you were always into trucks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And which was kind of surprising. You know, we talk about cars and we talk about things like that. Now, also an influence for me was your brother Jeff had that Falcon.
Yes.
And we used to walk by Joe's Tires and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think he worked at Joe's Tires or something like that. Yeah, and that Falcon to me, I was like, this is the coolest car. I was like jacked up in the back, and he had the Krager SS's on there and stuff like that.
Here's one for you. I still think about it. I still know his name. I still remember the car. Andy Charles.
Oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Andy Charles.
The Roadrunner.
That's right. So Gregg and I were kids, man, and they used to have the car line. Some kids we ride the bus together, but there were some kids who got dropped off, and there was a little circle in the front, and we were like, man, we need to get Andy to bring us to school so we can drop off in the front. And here is a poor guy who knew what he was doing the night before, man. Like 7 o'clock in the morning, we're out there knocking on the window. Can Andy come out? Can you get Andy in there? Because one day he said he would take us to school, so we knocked on his door probably every day.
We helped him to it.
Till he finally did it, man. He finally did it. That old, that nice blue was like a 70 Roadrunner, I believe it was, 69 or 70
Roadrunner,
GTX. Yeah, man. So yeah, that was huge for me too. You remember that, man? We used to bother that guy every day.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, those guys, that whole street machine crew from back in the day. The Masters.
Oh yeah.
The Masters parking lot.
Masters, Paradise Liquors, Masters parking lot. Sunday nights, I think it was.
Yeah, the street racing scene.
Yeah.
Up on the New York State Thruway, and that was all. That was all, just embedded in me. I mean, riding around in the back seat of that Falcon my brother had.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. That's just it's burnt into my brain. I remember the stereo he had. I remember the engines he had. I remember, the struggles he had with it.
Yeah.
It sticks with you.
Yeah. I think the last time I saw your brother, I had that Fury.
Mm-hmm.
You remember I got that Fury, and he saw it. He said, man, I would love to take that car and shave it, take all the emblems off it, lower it, do all this stuff. And, I thought about that one day. I said, man, I wonder what he would have did to that, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's one of the cars that got away from me, or one of the ones I never should have sold that I should have kept.
Okay.
That 65 Plymouth, man. So I definitely remember that he wanted to hook that up. I was like, I can only imagine what he would have did with that.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So, you talk about trucks, and I've seen stuff on the internet. You had a light blue dually first. Was it dually first, and then you got the Suburban?
No, the Suburban's been with me for 22 years.
Oh wow! So
that's kind of the mainstay, and then several daily drivers have come and gone. Since then, but. The Suburban's been with me since 1998.
Oh wow!
And it's just it's an evolving thing. It's it's a street truck, sport truck style. I try to keep it simple, try to keep it clean, because in my mind, clean never goes out of style.
Yeah.
I tried to I learned at that point. I learned, to stay away from the trendy stuff. The paint jobs of the paint jobs du jour.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you follow trends, you'll end up changing your stuff a lot. Because stuff comes and goes. It gets dated real quick.
Right.
And it's fun. You see these. You look back at them now, and you look at these, these paint jobs that are just period, reminiscent of the times, and that all comes back around, if you stay clean, clean never goes out of style.
Yeah, and I think that's always been your style, because even when we used to draw stuff, man, your stuff was like clean lines.
Yeah.
It was never like overdone. Everything was like tastefully done.
I like simple. I like simple. I like simple. I like clean. It's a couple key elements, man. It's a few good moves, man, on any vehicle, on anything. It's it's wheels, tires, and stance.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean, you see it, I'm sure you've seen it, and I'm sure you've picked up on it. I mean, in my opinion, you could have $15,000 worth of tires and wheels on your car, but if it don't sit right,
That's right.
yeah, it's out the window. It's all, it's all for naught. It's gotta, it's gotta, the stance has gotta be there, and that's everything. And you gotta have the vision to be able to see something in a completed state. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people like, oh, I like those wheels. All right, but those wheels aren't going to look good on your car, or those wheels are too big for your car.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that color. Well, that color's not going to, that color's not going to complement, you're not going to complement your car.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was given the creative and artistic aspect of it from my mom.
Okay.
My mom was the creative one.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was the mechanical guy. My dad was more of an inspiration, and my mom was I got the creative gene from my mother.
Okay.
Growing up, I mean, there was never, this is a little off topic, but we'll get back to it.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, my mother, when I grew up, there was never, a handyman at the house, or my dad wasn't painting, my dad wasn't putting a floor down.
Mm-hmm.
It was my mom.
Oh, wow.
It was my mom who was reupholstering the couch.
Mm-hmm.
It was my mom who was laying tile in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
It was my mom who was, repainting the bathroom. And my mom had that sense of, balance for color, and the eye for, just, the cleanliness and I guess feng shui, you would say, the flow, the balance of color, and the blue here, the blue here, the blue here, the blue, very precisely, oriented.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's, I owe my mom that, for the creative side of what I, what I got now.
So she had that vision.
Yes.
And she knew what the end product was going to be.
Yes.
She was able.
Absolutely.
She was able to do that.
Yeah. My dad was the nuts and bolts.
Gotcha.
Kind of thing. My dad, was the troubleshooter, could fix things.
Mm-hmm.
Saw the end result on a mechanical aspect.
Gotcha.
But that creative gene, if you will, that comes from my mom.
That's cool.
And
And you make a good point with that, because I guess now I can appreciate those things too. When I see like Chip Foods and some of these guys, when they're making cars, they draw out the car first. They're like, okay, this is the vision.
Right.
So like you say, even with the color,
Right.
you got to look at it here first. You can't just say, I want those wheels, I want that. You got to put it together, and you got to be able to see that.
Right. It's got to be, it's got to work. It's got to work together. There are hundreds of guys who got it.
Mm-hmm.
And all that's happening in the car world now, and how exposed to everyone is to it now. You can see, who's got it. You can see who doesn't.
It's obvious, right?
It's obvious, but it's all creative. It's all it's all good. It's your expression of it. It's my expression of it. And there are just some guys who are like, you look at, damn. There's guys here in the game, and there's guys here in the game, and fortunately now with the media, I think the guys who are here are getting there. They're just desserts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, so good stuff, man. And that part of the detail about getting that from your mom and stuff like that, seeing that vision and stuff going together. Another thing I wanted to talk about was if you can go into your experience at BMW, and how you started working with like the Cooper project
Mm-hmm.
and some of the interior design, how that may have had a little play in that. But I kind of want to go chronologically a little bit like that.
Okay.
So so let's see, we talk a little bit about your truck and stuff like that, but so I remember like we would always take stuff apart. Like we had walkie-talkies, we were taking stuff apart as a tape recorder. We're always trying to figure stuff out. And I know you were good with the wiring, electronics, and things like alarm systems, radio, putting stereos in. And we were just talking about what it took for you to put a TV in your first truck. When it wasn't the thing to do. I mean, now TVs in the headrest and all these other monitors. That's commonplace. But
Right.
I mean, you're doing that stuff cutting edge. So I don't know if you want to go into a little bit about that, or a little bit more your career path, like how a little preview here. But you kind of talked about how you got so deep into the car industry that you were almost losing your hands on.
Mm-hmm.
And so wherever you want to go with that.